Did you have Goebbels suing Supreme Court Chief Justice Roberts on your bingo card? Probably not. Neither did I. And actually, did I just say Goebbels? Sorry, I was using his old name from his past reincarnation. I'm talking about Miller. Miller's group, whom he founded, was the front man of, and now he stepped down because it's even worse. He's now in the White House. But anyway, his old legal group, who they say is going to be taking on everything that the ACLU does, well, instead, their first big splashy thing that they're doing is to take on the entire United States court system. And because the Chief Justice, which is Chief Justice Roberts, is sort of the spearhead of the highest court of all the courts in the land, guess what? They're suing him. He is on a lawsuit by this group to say, we think these courts should all be under the executive branch. What does that mean? Well, it means that they won control of the courts. You know, we saw 45, the felon, the imposter president, we saw him make himself up as the Pope, right? I'm sure that somewhere he's made himself up as a king or, you know, whatever, because we've seen all the memes. We've seen the memes of him being this superhero and all of that, whatever. We know this guy is Delulu. We know he's suffering from mental slippage and also an ego the size of Texas. But anyway, we know all these things, right? But this is different. This is important because Miller is a strategist. He is the cockroach that lived after the annihilation, after the nuclear war. There's going to be one cockroach. We all know this, right? They're smarter. They're going to be able to live through whatever. Miller is it. Miller is the cockroach that crawled out of the disaster and carries on. So we really need to pay attention to him and this lawsuit, because when I go into this, I see Justice Roberts wringing his hands. I mean, he's literally, he's not prepared for this, you guys. He's like saying, wait, what? Like, he's like, okay, so you know what the spirit guides are showing me is in the past, I don't know this to be true, but this is what they're showing me. A man would take off his glove and take the glove and, you know, slap the face of another man. His face has been slapped with a glove. Now, I think the guides, I think this is true, that the next step is a duel. Like, I think that was the challenge. And the next step is 2 revolvers and 50 faces. So Roberts is like, did you just hit me with your glove? You know, like I see him, I swear, this is what the guides are saying, like taking a drink in the morning at breakfast and going, this isn't orange juice. This is grapefruit juice. It's yellow, but it's not orange juice. What happened? Like, his whole worldview collapsed, right? So listen, you've been listening to me for a few minutes. I didn't even introduce myself. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. I predict politics. I also am a community builder, a spiritual teacher, a whole lot of things. I have a lot going on in the second half of this incarnation, but right now you're tuned into politics, and that's what I do. I have predicting politics for years. So let's get back to it, because of all the things, and I'm going to talk about 1 or 2 other things, but of all the things that are going on, and you and I know, there's a veritable shite show of things going on, a whole smorgasbord of spoiled, rotten, crappy things. This is important because, well, we need someone with a spine. And when I just looked just now, I saw Amy Coney Barrett. She's the one with the spine. I mean, I think she's it. Like, on the conservative side, she's it. So, and that doesn't mean she has our values, right? So that you can have a spine and not necessarily have the values of 2025, the year of 2025 citizens, because I think she does have the values of American citizens, but maybe it's from 1750 or something. I don't know. So I'm a little concerned about Roberts, and I want to energetically take a peek at what he is doing. And if you're new here, thank you so much. Please subscribe, like, share, comment. But also know that am I like a bad, like, I feel like I'm a rebel. Yeah, that's what they're saying. You're a rebel because I don't always listen to my spirit guides. That's something I'm kind of famous for. But anyway, I don't suggest it. That's not something I'm saying you should do. But you and I both know if there's a velvet rope and you want to know what's on the other side of that velvet rope, and you could, that you would. So that's what I do. I'm going to go behind the velvet rope. And, sometimes it doesn't work out so well because sometimes, honestly, I bring home some STDs. No, I ain't talking about that, y'all. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about spiritually transmitted diseases. I bring that stuff back. I'm over here in the gutter with these people. I'm going to bring something back. And then I have to delouse myself. It's exhausting. This has been exhausting. But anyway, that's enough about me. Let's talk about Roberts. When I go, I have to take a deep breath. Did you see that? Like, I really had to fill all my lungs up to go into this room where he's at, because it's not pretty. Like, I'm going to tell y'all right now, as mad, sad, depressed, cracked, whatever you are, we in a lot better shape than Roberts. I mean, honestly, I feel better about my own self now. I mean, my mental health is a lot better than Roberts. Dang, he is a sort of what is that word you're trying to say? He's a rag doll. I was getting rough and rag and doll and all these things together. He's a rag doll. He's been, this is behind the scenes, you guys. Obviously, this is not outward, but behind the scenes, energetically, for entertainment purposes only. He's a rag doll. For one thing, I think his wife rules the roost. I think his wife tells him what to do and how to do it and when to do it. I really do. And that makes sense because he's a yes man, and he's going to play the role that he was put in the Supreme Court, and especially as justice, to play. Meaning, allegedly, he's got handlers. Meaning, allegedly, he might be, I have to be very careful here. He might be dealing with some people and getting some favors in response, in regard, in whatever kind, a little bit like Clarence Thomas, right? I mean, we already know that this court has an ethics problem. This has been clearly proven. And actually, they're reminding me, this has been proven with Roberts as well, because there were ethical eyebrows raised when his wife got some law students clerk jobs in the Supreme Court. And that was, there was something there. There was something about that, a story that popped up and then it disappeared, because we're in a hurricane of unethical abuses, right? Like they just fly by like a tornado, and like, there goes that one, and we can't stop to pay attention to any of them. But we are going to pay attention to this. So he's a rag. I want to know if he's going to stand up for the court. I want to know, and I'm going to tell you guys, right? Like, if you're new here, sorry, grab a crash helmet, grab some goggles, grab some mace, suck your thumb. There's teddy bears. I don't care, whatever. Like, do what you got to do. Okay. So sometimes I say too much. And it's a real problem, because when I'm going back over the video to make sure that the sound was on or something like that, they tell me that I've said too much, but I can never find the place. And then I have to go and literally by, clipping things until they say it's okay. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to say too much. And I'm getting a warning that this is an area that's very sensitive and very, also it's still in flux. Okay. So it's not decided yet. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, like I tell you guys, right? Don't take everything I say as the gospel. Use your own intuition. Gather other resources. We have an amazing psychic political community here. Take a deep breath and just kind of see what fits together for you. So when I go into this, Robert, because this is something I want to know, because I'm always trying to find out what's the big picture. Like, who's the kingpin? Who's the person that could change everything? How could all this change tomorrow? Or when is it going to change, right? Like I'm always drawn to the big picture and also the underpinnings or the behind the scenes kind of action. And Roberts is being cautioned. They're cautioning him. They must, I hear them saying, we must maintain control. We must maintain control. That's what his handlers are saying, allegedly. At all cost. They just said at all cost. We must maintain control at all costs. But the thing that worries me, and the reason I'm doing this video is because there is a part of Roberts, there's conflicting, it's almost like he has a handful of supporters, if you understand what I'm saying, and, you know, they've all been basically on the same page, you know, maybe not all 100%, but enough that he could feel comfortable in his votes and what he was doing to know that he was in their lane. He was representing them the way they wanted to be represented. But now there's a split in his handlers. That is why this man is having a mental breakdown right now, because there's literally a split. That's not good. If you think about, you know, two people that are in control of paying your everything, I'm just saying allegedly, and then those people start fighting and they want you to pick, you know what I mean? Like, what do I do? What do I do? This is Roberts. He literally is in a panic. And I just got the word Palantir. If you don't know who that is, they are evil. I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, I think that they're evil. I think that they are, and they're a data company. They're much like Elon's data things that he's doing. Palantir is embedded in all parts of our government by our own money. You and I are paying for this. They have huge governmental contracts. And I think it's interesting, right, that these companies that are trying to kill the government are the ones that have the contracts, because once the government is completely privatized, well, who do you think it's going to go to? The company that knows how to do it all. So they're just basically trying to kill off the host so that they can take over. This is what's happening. So anyway, I got Palantir, and I think that one side is Palantir adjacent, so not directly to Palantir, but adjacent, next to, connected to, okay? Because it's important to know what Roberts is going to do. And he doesn't have, I swear to God, I hate to keep talking about Mike Pence because, well, if you follow me on social media, on Threads, I'm on there all the time. But Mike Pence is a guy that none of us thought had a spine. I mean, literally, like, that's the last person. Swear to God, if I needed, if I was the last two people on Earth and one was Mike Pence, I would just be like, well, I guess I'm on my own. You know what I mean? So imagine my surprise, right, when he decided to save the country by not getting in that SUV and leaving the Capitol, and then walking back in and during a riot, during a coup, he walked back in and said, we have to certify this vote. We have to do it. So when I think about wimps, and maybe that's a pejorative word, but anyway, I'm going to go with it for a minute. When I think about those kinds of people, spineless people, that's who I think of. And this is Justice Roberts. He's got less of a spine than Pence. Swear to God. At least Pence has shown back up and said, I made the right decision. I'm not going to backtrack now. That takes a lot, considering that bigger people than Pence are falling to the knee. Okay, so the problem is Roberts doesn't even have as much of a spine as Pence does. So either his wife is going to give him a spinectomy, you know, shove one up his backside, or we're in trouble, right? So let me look at his wife, because the way it's looking right now, you guys, is if he had a choice, he would go with the dangerous people, like the people who are scaring him. I mean, that's it, right? That's how the mob rules. You get the letter, you get the pictures of, you get the horse's head, right? My God. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys, the guides were telling me there's and this could be from the 70s, okay, but there's I think there's what do you call those people? A mystery, a mob fiction writer, a person who writes about those types of things, but it's fiction. Mario Fabrici, Mario, something like that. He wrote a book with a black cover, I think. Y'all, that's what the guide showed me yesterday. I don't know why. I'm sending it out there to my super sleuths. Y'all find anything, let me know in the comments. Okay. Well, I couldn't resist, and I Googled it myself, and guess what? It's the freaking Godfather. Sometimes I wonder about my spirit guides. Why did they show me the picture? Why couldn't they say the words? The Godfather. But anyway, here it is on the screen, the Godfather. Thank you, guides. So the mob, right? It's about intimidation and scaring you into doing what they want you to do. But Roberts knows that if he does this, it's over. Like his career is over, his power is over. We talked a lot about this in the past, that you don't run, you don't climb all those ladders to be a federal judge, because you're not making nearly as much money. You're grinding it out. As a federal judge, you're not a lawyer making $1 million a year, right? You're a public servant. And you do that because you like that power of being a judge. You like the idea that you're shaping society through your rulings. You like that maybe you're trying to get all the way up there to the Supreme Court, right? That takes a little bit of ego. That takes a little bit of wanting to do that. That's not saying I want to be a professional sports star, so now I'm going to go out there and practice every day. This is a whole different thing in which you're taking less money and you're working harder. Okay, so you don't do that if you don't have dreams of having that power, of having that attaboy. For Roberts, it's the attaboy, the slap on the back. Oh, good job, good job. He lives for praise. He lives for praise. Okay. So here he is. The people he's living for praise from are giving him, grapefruit juice instead of orange juice, right? They're starting to slap him with their little glove. I mean, they're really starting to make him see, uh-oh, this is not going to end well for me. So he could, I swear, he could resign. It's on the table. It's on the table because he doesn't know how to get out of this. He doesn't want to go to prison. He doesn't want to go to jail. And I'm telling you, a lot of these people are going to go to jail. A lot of these people are going to go to prison. And he doesn't want that. He doesn't want to be on that side of history. And I want to call him a wimp again. What do wimps do? They wimp out, So he could step down. He could. This is not written in stone. This man has free will. He's looking at all my options. He's trying to decide what is the best thing for me. You saw a lot of people in the felon's first reign of terror literally resigned because they knew they were about to be in prison. And then you saw a lot of people go to prison. So this is an option for him. And because he does not feel like he has enough support from the people who are saying we must maintain control. He feels like those people are not as mean or violent as the other people. And this is where we are, right? This is exactly where we are with all of Congress, because Congress people are saying we feel threatened. We're getting death threats, right? Well, who are you going to listen to? Someone who's got pictures of your grandkids, or someone who's like, look, stick it out, do the right thing? I mean, when you get right down to it, humans want to protect their families. And the mob is literally running everything. And if that doesn't work, they've got dirt on you. That would be criminal. So maybe you have a little kink that would be criminal, and they've got that dirt on you. Maybe it's drugs. Maybe it's some kind of horrible thing to do with sexual aversion. I don't know. I'm not saying Roberts has any of that. I'm saying Roberts has the threats. He has the threats. Look, if you don't do this, it's going to get real ugly for you, right? Like I also see them threatening with loss of money. Like I've told you guys in the past that Cannon allegedly has a golden parachute. If she's got a lifelong, that is a lifelong job, the job that Judge Cannon has. But should she be run out, she's been promised a golden parachute, and I mean millions of dollars a year, which is more than she makes now. So if she just continues doing their bidding, she's covered. But this is what's coming to an end for Roberts. They're saying you're going to live off of that pension, whatever that is, even if it's $250,000 a year. This man is not accustomed, right? Like I know his wife, they're telling me his wife makes a lot of money, but what if she gets blacklisted? What if, God forbid, they have to live off of $250,000 a year? They can't do it. That they would be paupers. In their minds, they would be paupers. They would also be pariahs because they would be blackballed. They'd be blackballed. So these are all things that are going into Robert's consideration. None of them have anything to do with you or me. None of them have anything to do with the safety or our Constitution. So, but that's what he's considering, in my opinion, as I look at his energy. I want to see where his wife stands. His wife stands on the they said she stands on the side that's not going to prison. Smart lady. So she might be telling him to step down. She's telling him to play both sides. Don't make anybody mad. Play both sides. And she thinks, that's interesting. Let's see what she thinks, because she thinks this is all going to blow over. Now, when I say blow over, I don't mean like, I think we use that term to mean like, oh, it'll blow over and everything will get better. I think we mean blow over like it was an F5 tornado and it blew over our town and now it's been raised and we're coming out of the basement blinking into the sunlight going, what just happened, right? So it is going to blow over, but I think there's going to be definitely some tragedies there. So she says, wait it out. She's cautioning him to wait it out. But honestly, I'm telling you, he's in his special room, self-soothing. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what that is, but he's a mess. Like that man needs mental health help and maybe medication. I don't even know. I'm not a doctor. I can't give you medical advice, but I'm just saying I feel a little bit sorry for it. But anyway, okay. So I think that's good that she thinks this is going to blow over. She thinks the right groups are going to come together. Now, and I saw that, the right groups, and they're not together yet. One's over here, one's over here. So they're not together. And we need time for them to come together, to coalesce. To me, they're too far apart. Like when I look at this energy map, I don't like the fact that one's way over here and one's way over here. I mean, come on, like what are you waiting for? Now, these two groups are not the split group. The split group is way over here to the right. They're literally, there's no connection between the two sides at this point. The two groups that are coming together are on the same side, but they're just not ideologically aligned yet. And I think that's going to happen quicker than we think, because this is a pretty big shot across the bow. This is a pretty big danger to our court system. I mean, he's suing Roberts. They're going to block it. I think they're going to block it. This has already happened once, and the Supreme Court just said, no, go away, stop bothering us. It was a little different, but I think they're going to block it. It's an assault. So they just showed me like a castle that's being assaulted from all sides. Like, so you think, well, okay, well, they're assaulting the drawbridge. We pull up the drawbridge, but now they're climbing up the side of the castle on the south side. And now they're assaulting us so it's an assault from all sides. It's an assault on the Constitution from all sides. But I think that because I went into her energy, that's his wife, that's Robert's wife, and she's wearing the pants. I don't want these things that I'm saying to be seen as pejorative. I just want to say that in this relationship, she seems to have more willpower and tends to get what she wants more often than he does. And that's their relationship. It's fine. It works like that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. I'm not trying to be pejorative. I'm just trying to say in this energetic equation, she is more often than not the final decision maker. And I think that because she is, yeah, she says, I'm not going to jail and I'm not giving up my power. And if my power causes you to make a ruling that puts us in a position to be aligned with people that are committing treason, that's a no for me. That's going to be a no for me. So I think that's good. That gives me hope. Okay. Because when I just look at Roberts, it's not good. He will cave. Robert will cave. He'll give you whatever you want while he's sobbing. That's why I go beyond the velvet rope. That's why I look at other people, because if you're just looking at Roberts, you're not gonna get the whole picture. You have to look at what energies are pushing and pulling on that person. And then you need to look at how much power each of those energies has. Okay. So I would say that I think it's like 90% chance that it's going to get blocked. But I think it's going to get blocked before it gets to him. I think, yeah, again, they're assailing the castle or whatever you want to say. So I think it's going to get blocked. But I got to say that he is a complete mess. Like he is a rag doll. He's just a mess. Like he's not well. God bless him. So, okay. So I think, and I've the guides have said, right, that the courts are going to start walling off the criminal. And they're starting to wall him off. They're starting to create a barrier around him, that they would lock him in some sort of positioning. Doesn't mean he doesn't have power, because he's the president. He has a lot of power, but he doesn't have as much power as he thinks he does or wants to have. And I think you're going to see more courts, more people standing up to him instead of less. So that's good. That because I sat down, because when I sat down, I was looking at Robert's energy and I was thinking we are in some big trouble. Okay, let's move on to one more thing, and that is the planes in the sky. I think it was last week. There was a period of, I think it was 90 seconds. You can look it up and find the exact details, but there was a period of time where all of the screens went black in the air traffic controllers' computers. Something like a minute or more, the air traffic controllers could not control the air traffic. They didn't know where the planes were. The planes didn't know where other planes were. Nobody knew where to land. Nobody knew how to, gain elevation or descend elevation to avoid something. And I believe this happened a week ago, and I believe that it happened on the East Coast. I don't remember exactly. It's one of those airports near the DC area. There's several airports in that area. Apparently, some of the air traffic controllers took emotional PTSD time off. Like that scared them so bad that they said, that's it. I have to have mental health break. It took almost a week for us to learn about this, right? This is Tuesday. I think this happened last Monday. This took a week for us to learn about this, okay? And then just a few days ago, the Army said, we're not allowing any more helicopters to fly in that airspace, period. Because apparently the felons, people were just jumping on Army helicopters and taking joy rides. I mean, I'm being maybe a little bit hyperbole there, but they're using those helicopters for transportation, and it's a very crowded airspace, and it's not working. It's not working. So the Army stood up and said, we're going to take ourselves out of this situation. Since our chief, the president, all these edicts he's releasing, the edict he won't release is stop taking military helicopters. We're going to do it. So the Army stepped up. So, there was a month ago when we talked about this, when we were all scared to fly. And I told you guys, when the pilots say we're not flying, nobody should be flying. We're really close to that. We're really close to the pilots, because they're the ones putting their lives on the line, right? Like the pilots and the flight attendants are the ones really showing every day and putting their lives on the line. And if they can't count on the air traffic controllers, or they can't count on their equipment, meaning the airplanes and whatever, to be up to date and to be, in great working condition, then why am I putting myself in this danger? Why am I putting myself in harm's way? This is where we're going. But I want to talk about, and also want to be careful here, because this is a little dicey, but I said this before, at least on social media. I believed that the mid-air collision that happened, I feel like it could have had something to do with hacking into the navigational instruments and causing that to happen. That's what I got. I can only tell you what I got. I don't think that Army, that helicopter would have flown into that jet. Or that plane. It didn't make any sense. And I know that I've read articles that say that there is a push to use more automated systems, and these automated systems can be hacked. Now, of course, there's autopilot, right? There's pilots fly on autopilot, but not in that really frenzied airspace. That is an airspace that is really too busy anyway, period, end of story. And then I think that these things can be hacked. I feel that those screens went out because they were hacked. That is my psychic prediction, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. I have been predicting, and so have a lot of other psychics, 3 days of blackout or grids going down. I've told you guys many times that I get the impression of after 9/11, when we're all like, wait a minute, what's happening? We're not traveling, we're not flying, we're not sure if we're under attack. We literally didn't know. It was the first time I think in our history since maybe the attack on Hawaii, which I can't think of the word at this time. We were attacked, and we didn't know to what degree we would continue to be attacked. We didn't know what was going to happen. It's the same energy after the pandemic started, when we didn't know. We didn't know what was happening. We stayed home. We waited. This is what I feel like we're going into, where it's not across the country. I don't see the whole country going dark, but because they can't pull that off. So you see what I'm saying here when I said that statement? But I do see regions or cities going down, much like Spain went down. I'm not saying that was an attack, but I'm saying that much like that, right? Where an entire city goes offline. And I would be thinking of democratic cities. And I would be thinking of democratic cities are typically more racially diverse, and that's why they're going to attack them. So there could be a time when the guides are saying sporadic interruptions of electricity and the grid. So sporadic interruptions. So like, what do you call that when they had those waves in California, when you have those brownouts, when there's waves of electricity brownouts because the electricity can't keep up or whatever? This is what it feels like, waves. Like, we don't know when it's going to happen, but it just goes out. You know what it is? It's terrorism. That's what it is. Because it terrorizes us, because we don't know when it's going to happen. It's not like the local grid is saying we have to ration electricity. That's not it at all. It is this energy of we will strike at our own convenience, which is something the United States says to other countries. I've heard Biden say it. We have heard Obama say it. We will strike at a time of our own convenience. This is what they're telling me. Okay, so this is not to scare you, because this is not scary. I mean, hospitals have generators, right? There does need to be redundancy in the online capacity or protections, because even though they have generators, right? Like if you're using something that's cloud based, which we all do, then you're offline, right? You don't have a way to operate that, whatever that is you're trying to operate. So it could impact hospitals, and definitely impact street lights. It could also impact transportation, like planes, ships, red lights, automobiles, GPS, all those kinds of things. Those screens were only down for like a minute and a half, but that's terrifying, right? That the word terrifying. So if you don't know when your grid is going to go down, but it's already been down 3 times in the last week, you're terrified. That changes your behavior, because then you're like, well, I don't want to plan anything because I don't want to be on the subway. I don't want to be on the bus. I don't want to be across town when all the lights go down. So then you're held captive. You stay home, you stop buying things, you go into a zone of fear and anxiety. Now, why am I telling you this? Because forewarned is forearmed. If you do like the Spaniards did and go out in the street and just drink all the beer instead of it going hot, and meet each other, it's an opportunity to build community. Take all of these things they're trying to do to us and turn them around to your own benefit. Well, I was stuck at the subway, but I ended up meeting the love of my life. I was stuck at this gas station because I needed gas, and then the power went out. And I ended up meeting this person who helped me find this thing that I really needed, and it solved this problem. Community. Those of us that have been through a lot of natural disasters, God bless our souls, community more than anybody else, whether it's a snowstorm or a hurricane or a tornado or an earthquake or a wildfire. Community. You know what I'm talking about, because everybody shows up and everybody's helping you pull out your carpet out of your house that's been flooded. Everybody's helping you save your animals. Everybody's helping you to get somebody out of the house or to do whatever they can do. This is our time to shine, is what the guides are saying. They cannot take away our spirit. And I am not going to speak French. Joie de vivre, I think, is what they're saying, which is joy of life or something. I don't know. They can't do it. Don't let them do it. If we get small like Roberts, if we end up in the room like a rag doll, then we're not good for nothing. We're not living our life. We're not making the best of it in a lot of ways, right? And I'm not saying that don't be scared. I'm not saying to invalidate your feelings, because for sure we're going to all have feelings and we should all feel those. And your feelings are valid, 100% valid. If you're tired of this shit, I get it. Like, I totally get it. If you're over it, I get it. If you're depressed, whatever it is, I get it. Believe me, I've experienced all those things just in the last hour. I get it. However, this is a message to you that if you look around, somebody's going to be going through what you're going through, and just help them or ask for help, because this is actually going to bring citizens together. It's actually going to bring us all together. It's actually going to get us out of this problem, because they're trying to terrorize us. They're trying to split us and divide us and make us hate each other and make us blame each other and stay in our houses and be afraid. But instead, we're not going to do that. We're going to turn around and check on our neighbors. We're going to go outside when the power is out, and we're going to sit out on the lawn, or we're going to, take food to people and say, you know what, this is going to spoil. I don't want it to spoil. Let me give you this food. You guys, this is the golden ticket. This is how we get out of this. If we meet this challenge by being neighborly, creating community, connecting with each other, instead of vilifying and yelling at each other and staying fearful, we'll actually walk through this challenge so much faster, because we're basically taking their weapon away. Their weapon is to divide us. We're taking that away. You can't divide us, because when you attacked us, we found our true strength in our humanity. Thank you for showing us who we really are. Thank you. You know what? I'm grateful to you, Goebbels Miller. I'm grateful, because if you hadn't have been so evil and horrible, I wouldn't have realized how important my community or any community is. You know, and I do look back on some of the pretty horrible natural disasters I've been through, and I look back at volunteering to help people who came out of Katrina, who showed up in Houston and had nothing. These people didn't even have a wallet. Like they ran for their lives, literally ran for their lives. All they had was the clothes on their backs. And I was at a volunteer station and I got to help those people. And that was an honor. That was an honor for me. Conversely, I remember after a hurricane sitting in my driveway, and I admit, I didn't realize how bad I looked, because you don't realize how bad you look until somebody sees you, and then you see it in their face and you're like, oh, I must look really bad. But when you have a flood, the silt and the mud and the muck is everywhere. And it's all over you. Like you're covered in, you look like a swamp creature, basically. And it was 99 million degrees. So I was sweaty and covered in mud. And here comes this not-for-profit giving away hot meals. And I told them, I'm good, I don't need food. And he got out of his truck and he got a meal and he walked over to me and he handed it to me and he said, yes, you do. And I'm telling you, what an act of humanity. Of humanity. This guy was like, girl, you're not okay. You're not okay. You are not okay. You need, and here's some water, right? That was an act of humanity. And that's who we are. That's the true nature of America right there. And I tell you guys, our uniqueness is our diversity. Our power is our diversity. So when they try to divide us, they try to separate us, and they try to terrorize us, we're not going to let them. We're going to reach out to each other and we're going to be there for each other. And in that way, we're going to drive a stake right in the heart of people like Miller. Okay. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If you're new here, well, I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a spirit navigator. And I would like to invite you actually to join my free community, which is called Lighthouse Keepers Crew, because my guides told me before all this went down, they actually told me this in 2016, that they needed to create a community. And I was like, what are you even talking about? And who are you? You know what I mean? Like, it's been a long journey, you guys. That's been over, 10 years ago. And wait, 9 years ago. And so I tried to create a lot of communities. I created a Facebook community of all kind, and it didn't work. It's like nothing worked. YouTube has been pretty much as close as I thought I was going to get. But no, they kept saying, no, a community where people can gather, not like this. I tried Patreon. That wasn't it. And I finally, it took a lot of pushing for them, but I finally created a community. So it's on Mighty Networks. And they said, name it the Lighthouse Keepers Crew. They literally gave me the name, because the lighthouse is the place, is the thing, right, that shines the light, that says, hey, safe harbor here. Sailors would, in stormy seas, be looking for that light to guide them into the harbor, into safe waters. That is what this is. The Lighthouse Keepers Crew is free. It is literally free. You can find out about it on my website, SusanLynnMedium.com, SusanLynnMedium.com. intimidation.com. You can find out whatever I'm doing. You can find out there. And there's over 2,000 people in this group. And it's actually really cool because we're all supporting each other and you can chat. It's just like any social media group you've ever been a part of, but it's private. And no one is selling your information. You can safely say what you think and not worry about some troll reporting you or coming after you. This is a safe place, okay? And this is what we need right now is a community of like-minded people. Now, find your community. Find a community locally, find a community online. There's many people that have memberships. Find your people. I don't care where you find them. But right now, there's safety in numbers is what the guides just said. There's safety in numbers. So when that thing happens, right, when you lose electricity or whatever that thing that happens, there's an interruption in the water, their water is not clean, or it's hard to find whatever it is that you're searching for, you can go to these communities and you can have somebody hear you and support you. Not like Justice Roberts, who's in his little special room crying into his, blanket. God bless him. You know what I mean? I don't want that for anybody. Nobody should have to live like that, right? And I for sure don't want it for you. So find people to support you, okay? They're there. This is free, but there are many other memberships out there for you to join, okay? And locally, please get involved locally. Go to your local library, go to your local anything, start a group, a hobby. Just find people to be around because it's really easy to isolate. And this is the message they told you. They want Americans, they want worldwide citizens. This is not just America, but they want worldwide citizens to isolate, to be fearful, to stay in their house, to not go outside. Because if we go outside, we're going to meet other people and we're going to start comparing stories. And then we're going to start supporting each other. And then guess what? We're stronger than them. So don't isolate. That's what they want you to do. Don't let them win. Okay. The last thing I'd say is I have another community that is a paid community. It is a whole $12 a month. And for that $12, well, you get me. I don't know. I'm there twice a month. One session doing readings. I've had that scheduled this week, actually. I do readings for my members. That's the only place I offer readings. Also, the second time that I'm with my members during the month is I have Soul Growth Sunday, which is a unique workshop that I have with my members every single month. Okay. The third thing is I bring in an expert from outside to give a mini presentation to my members. That's 3 presentations that you get every month for $12 a month. And all told, that's really about 6 to 7 hours teaching, interaction, learning for $12 a month. It's really a good deal. And in the meantime, well, you're supporting each other. It's like the busiest beehive I've ever seen in my life. It's constantly going with people chatting and sharing. And, you can share anything that is supportive on there. So it's your community, right? That is called the Magical Metaphysical Community. But both of these things can be found on my website, SusanLynnMedium.com. Last thing, I am moving, but I haven't moved yet. I'm still in Texas. I am in an Airbnb because I'm trying to keep my big, dirty dog out of the clean, staged house. Now, I am going on an adventure. If you've watched me for a while, you know that every summer I take my dog and I go on an adventure. And I do these videos from places all over the country. And I'm going on one of those adventures for the whole month of May. Basically, I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be traveling through the country, but I'm going to continue doing videos because every couple of days, I'm going to stay for a couple of days. So I'm going to have respites when I'm stationary and I can do these videos. So I'm going to continue to be with you during this time. And of course, I'm going to continue to be with my members during this time. I designed it so that I could do it, so that I could travel and then stop and travel and stop and travel and stop. And when I do stop traveling, that will be my new home. And honestly, I don't know where that is yet. I swear, I do not know where that is yet. I think it's in a certain direction, and that's the direction I'm going. And I have a few places that I'm going to try out. So that's what's going on with me. I know you guys have asked about traveling and all of these things. I am really an introvert. I know that probably sounds surprising to you, but I am. And I really, really deeply appreciate all the offers of you guys' homes and everything, and I really appreciate that. But honestly, I am a loner. I am a get my dog and hide out kind of person, right? So when they're talking about community, they're also talking about me. That's why I do this work. This is how I have community. I experience community through my membership, right? But when I'm not experiencing community through these ways, I pretty much just hang out with me and my dog, and I love nature. So that's what I do, right? Find what works for you. Okay. Don't let them take your life over. Don't let them ruin your life. Whatever they hand you, make lemonade out of it, right? Make something good out of it. Find something good. Like I literally just thanked Stephen Miller, which I never thought I would do in 1,000 years. But really, really? Okay, yeah. This guy is helping me see our country in a new way. And in a lot of ways, he's given me hope for our country and hope for humanity because we are going to link arms and hands and sing and walk together through this. We are. There's more of us than there are of those hateful people. And they can stay in their hateful world, but we're not a part of that. We're joyous. We're going to go make the best of whatever we can, help each other out through the dark times, and celebrate in the light times. Okay? Take really good care of yourself. I'll see you again really soon. For entertainment purposes only,